Delirium Origin Explored, Sandman. Hello and welcome to another marvelous video. Today we are talking about the origins of another Sandman character, Delirium. After the very successful season 1 of the Sandman on Netflix, Neil Gaiman recently revealed that he's already thinking about who can play Morpheus's siblings, Destruction and Delirium, in the show's second season. Delirium is one of the Endless's most challenging members to describe. She is Dream's younger sister and the absolute ruler of her realm, which governs both sanity and insanity. Her world is abstract with constantly shifting colors and shapes, so I suggest you sit tight and fasten your seatbelts because we are going on a hell of a ride today. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot, so thank you very much. And let's begin. Who is Delirium? Delirium is the youngest member of Endless. Most of the other Endless, especially Death and Destruction, appear somewhat fond of and protective of Delirium. She often reciprocates their affection, especially towards Destruction. So, what's her story? Delirium presents a young, short, thin girl whose appearance frequently changes in response to the erratic shifts in her temperament. She often wears eccentric, ill-fitting clothing that can change in style at any time, along with wild hair. Her eyes, which alternate between blue and green with silver spots, are the only physical features that are constant about her appearance. Although she can make her eyes the same color, she has admitted that doing so is painful. Her shadow is tangible, like velvet, and never reflects her shape. She's rumored to have a sweaty, late-night, sour wine and worn-out leather scent. Delirium's siblings have an impact on her appearance in addition to mortals. In the presence of her family, her skin tone will be a chalky white. However, in the presence of people with similar skin tones, she will appear Caucasian. This seems to be a quality that only she possesses. Delirium, who was born Delight, underwent a transformation long before humans existed. In Endless Nights, a collection of tales about the Endless, she can be seen as a very young Delight. In Brief Lives, a statue of an older Delight can be seen in Destiny's Garden. She tends to be disorganized most of the time. She frequently loses track of the topic of her conversations and makes bizarre or seemingly unimportant observations. The series letterer, Todd Klein, illustrates her speech as letters against a background of various colors that don't quite line up or match in height. She can occasionally exert enough effort to control her thoughts and speech, at which point the background becomes almost entirely white, and her speech is neater. She later admits that this effort hurts her. She uses similar formats for her speech in Endless Nights as Delight, with somewhat neat lettering and soft rainbow background. Particularly in the 7th collection, Brief Lives, where she and Morpheus try to find Destruction, Delirium appears in many of the most creative scenes of the series. One of the series' most striking images shows Delirium lying on a hotel bed while holding a bottle of bubble solution. She blows bubbles in a variety of impossible shapes, including cats, crosses, diamonds, and what appears to be Totoro from the Japanese animated film My Neighbor Totoro. Additionally, at a crucial point in the narrative, Destiny gives Dream the knowledge and how he can locate Destruction. Dream's distress over this revelation forces Delirium to gather herself so much that she loses her customary mismatched appearance. She becomes a very symmetrical creature, perhaps reflecting the delight that still exists in Delirium, no matter how painful the experience is. The events of Brief Lives alter their relationship because at first she was somewhat afraid of Dream and avoided being around him, to the point where his guardians were unaware of who she was. In The Kindly Ones, Delirium tries desperately to convince Dream to join her on another quest to find Barnabas, her pet dog, which she received from Destruction in order to save him from impending doom, but Dream rejects her. Delirium once displayed an intense form of order, which should be noted. She recaps her appearance, including her hairstyle, clothing, and other details in almost precisely the same order as it had initially appeared towards the end of Brief Lives, as she describes to Destruction the steps she and Dream took to find him. Readers notice that despite her lengthy and rambling account seemingly nonsensical, it most accurately explained everything that had occurred, just not very clearly. This suggests that Delirium might not be as insane as she looks, and is instead just having trouble expressing herself. Destruction recounts a time when Death told him that everyone knows everything and they just act as though they don't at the end of brief lives. But neither he nor Dream truly comprehends or accepts this. Delirium also appears to have a lot of information that the other Endless do not. When Desire makes fun of her at the family gathering in Season of Mists, she responds by saying as much. But Delirium asserts that she is kind of right. Not knowing everything is all that makes it okay sometimes. Delirium allegedly knows routes outside of Destiny's Garden that are only accessible to her. Pretty awesome, right? Like her siblings, Delirium has demonstrated prophetic insight. However, until it is too late to act on them, few of her prophecies actually make sense, and no other characters notice them. Although Tiffany would later be the only mortal to survive the explosion of the building in which she was dancing, she persuades a man to give the dancer money in brief lives. Delight may have changed in part due to the rumor that she was once engaged to be married. When Destruction speaks to the female archaeologist in the Endless Night short story On the Peninsula, she mentions that Delirium might have experienced heartbreak. Delirium may have been referring to her illness when she said she was ill, but since time and the Endless are confused, and we don't know when she was sick, the illness she mentions may actually have occurred when she changed from Delight to Delirium. However, it is more likely that the illness was depicted in another Endless Night story, Going Inside, in which Delirium has withdrawn into her realm so far that nobody can retrieve her, except for the 5 insane people gathered together by Daniel, Matthew, and Barnabas, because only those who are already profoundly insane can enter her realm unharmed. What makes Delirium powerful? As the complete mistress of that aspect, Delight was Delirium's initial manifestation. She would have all the abilities and powers associated with Delight, but for some reason, she ended up changing into Delirium, still being Endless, but assuming a different persona. She is the only Endless who has gone through this change. Delirium is the personification of all Delirium, Sanity, and their lord. She possesses godlike abilities and complete control over her chaotic, constantly shifting realm of colors. She has the power to transform anyone or anything within her range into either sane or insane. So, like how it's described in the Bible, she is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. In other words, she is all-powerful, all-knowing, and present everywhere. However, her omniscient abilities are only weaker than her older siblings. As already mentioned, her features are constantly changing, depending on her mood and different states of mind. She can also change her appearance whenever she wants by changing her eyes, hair, or clothing colors. She can move through most magical realms with ease, as long as she treats them respectfully and travels instantly anywhere in the mortal realm where people live and die. Nearly absolute magic is under the control of Delirium. She is also capable of warping reality, including the minds of others, and creating anything she can imagine. Delirium has incredible durability that surpasses that of humans and is unaffected by mortal wounds or physical harm to her body. Delirium can know about impending events, but frequently their prophecies are confusing until it's too late. In brief lives, she made the decision to persuade one of the club goers to give the woman more money in advance of the club explosion, because she believed that the dancer Tiffany would be the only survivor. In The Kindly Ones, Delirium recognizes her brother's predicament and tries to help him, but to no avail. After being confronted by Desire, she also claimed that she is aware of many things that the other Endless are not. She has complete control over the physical world, and as a result, the reality is distorted, altered, and manipulated. She can rule her home at will, because her kingdom constantly changes colors and shapes. Delirium has a remarkable capacity to access both sanity and madness in human minds. She frequently discerns what kind of crazy thoughts someone is having, and it can either make someone lose their mind and go crazy, or the other way around. She is not only in charge of it and the physical manifestation of Delirium, but she can also absorb other people's insanity and grow stronger. Crazy ideas, crazy thoughts, and insanity are her fuel, so she can use her abilities however she pleases. As a chaotic way to show off its impersonation, Delirium occasionally produces frogs, fish, butterflies, and other small creatures always floating around or above the ground. Like the rest of the Endless, Delirium is subject to a complicated set of laws and traditions, despite having extraordinary powers. She must never spill family blood to maintain her status as the personification of Delirium and be shielded from other personifications. Another is that she cannot fall in love with a mortal because this will result in the mortal's doom. In the galleries of the other Endless, she has an abstract, multicolored swirl as her sigil. Her sigil was a flower, as it was revealed in Sandman Overture when she was Delight.
Your waking world is shaped.
Marvelous verdict. Gaiman already has grand plans for the future of the Netflix series The Sandman, even though Season 2 has not yet officially been approved. Gaiman expressed interest in adapting several Sandman side projects, in addition to his confirmed plan to adapt the entire 75-issue DC Comics run. This includes the 2003 graphic novel anthology The Sandman Endless Nights, the 2013 prequel miniseries The Sandman Overture, and the 1999 novella The Sandman The Dream Hunters. Gaiman noted that while The Sandman's upcoming series likely incorporate Endless Nights elements, tales like The Dream Hunters might call for their own standalone specials. Rumors have been going around that Elsie Fisher, the actress whose performance in Bo Burnham's 8th Grade stunned critics and viewers alike, will be getting the nod to portray Delirium. However, there is no proper source to back up this information. It seems that until now, no one has been selected to play the role of Delirium, and it will be quite a task to portray the youngest sibling in her chaotic sweetness on screen. I don't mind if Elsie plays it, because honestly, she's a pretty terrific actress. She would make the perfect Delirium in regards to the balance of sass and sweetness, which is pretty evident from her Twitter account. You can go check it out if you don't believe me. And also, if you liked her content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. And everybody, have a good one and be safe. Thank you all.